Hi, I'm Lisa, and I just moved to London from the United States. Why don't you come with me as we explore the city and beyond? First up, I went to the London Eye. The views were absolutely amazing, but I'd suggest the Sky Garden because that was free. Next up, I went to Buckingham Palace. Also, another thing to cross off on the list. It was really nice to see the palace, and I lucked out. There weren't that many people there. I went across the street to St. James Park, and I saw all of these elephant installations, and I've seen them around the city as well. They are an installation that's meant to remind you that we share space with other living beings, so that's kind of nice, and maybe if you're here in London, you'll see those popping up around the city. During COVID, I'd been wanting to get my nose pierced, so I found a place and I did it. Here's me trying to show it off awkwardly. Never trust the weather app. It said it wasn't gonna rain, but it is. I think me and a lot of other people in London had the same idea. It was a really rainy day and we went out to see the Tate Modern. It was another free thing that I would highly recommend. The exhibits were really great and it wasn't too crowded, but a little bit crowded. They do timed tickets, so that kind of helped to cut down on the amount of people that were in the galleries, so you're really able to take in all of the art. Wow, I'm really knocking off these free items to do in London. Next up was the Barbican Conservatory Garden. So the Barbican is a performing arts center in London, and it's just this really beautiful architecture building, and inside they have this indoor conservatory. So just looked around and really had a nice time in there, and also free, so I would highly suggest doing that. I think every list that you'll see for London tells you to go to the British Museum. And I had a nice enough time. I ran into some stolen African art. Literally the very next day after seeing this exhibit, there was an article in the New York Times regarding stolen pieces and returning them to countries in Africa they were stolen from. So yeah, right out of the real world. Then I was off to Sky Garden. I'd say if you want to see some really great views of London, I would do Sky Garden over the London Eye. Again, another free item. The views are amazing and it looked like a really nice cafe. You have to get a reservation for it, I believe, but it would be nice to kind of take in those views. There's all of these lush plantings in the Sky Garden and have like a nice cup of coffee while you're at it. I met this woman the first few weeks I was here, and she was born and raised in South London, and she told me about Hever Castle, which is the childhood home of Anne Boleyn. So she said that was her favorite castle to go to. So I decided to venture out of the city into the countryside and to go to this castle. There are two ways to get here, and I would not suggest taking the train to Hever Station and walking the mile from the station to the castle because there are no sidewalks, and I felt very unsafe walking on the streets as the cars were like zooming by. So you have to go to Edenbridge Station and take a taxi. Unfortunately, on the day that I went, all of the taxis were booked up. I guess that's a thing that can happen. So I had to risk my life, and I loved the castle and the gardens, but I would never do that again. Well, today I'm off to Bath, and it's already been a bumpy ride. I left my house about 6:50 for an 8:02 a.m. train, and the Just to say that was a 100-pound mistake, not kidding. So I will leave like hours in advance because the underground just tries to stop sometimes, and you will just be out of that money. Anyway, Bath was really great, and it now has me thinking of moving out of London, even though I've only lived here for a couple of weeks, and like getting my dream home in the countryside. Seriously, I want to do it. So even though I went to Buckingham Palace a couple days or weeks earlier, I got a ticket to go to the Queen's Gardens, which were just opening up on July 9th. The gardens were gorgeous, and can you just imagine the royal family just kind of having a picnic outside on a regular day? Yeah, I totally can. There was a lake and some flower gardens and just like this huge lawn area. We only got to see a small portion of it, and I'm sure it's much more expansive, but it was really nice to kind of get this like secret garden-esque experience in the heart of the city. Thanks for watching my first month-ish of living in London. If you'd like to see more, subscribe. Bye!